السلام عليكم. بسم الله. والصفير مستكن منه ومن فوق الثنايا السفلى. And صفير, which means whistling, mustakin, is placed from it, i.e. from the tip of the tongue, and from the above the lower two teeth. Yeah. Okay. Actually, one of my teeth are removed, so you can't see the ones that are in the middle there. Okay. Okay. Now, so whistling is a characteristic of three letters: Saad, Sin, and Zaay. It just means the sharp sound that you hear when these letters are said. S, z, s, s, s. Okay, that sharp sound, that is whistling. Okay, now here in this poem, it's just referring to the actual letters themselves, the letters of whistling, Sad, Sin, Zay. They are from, right, the tip of the tongue with the bottom of the inner surface of the lower incisors. Okay, and the sound goes over the teeth and actually through the gap that is between what? The upper tooth and the lower tooth. Look. You see there? My two teeth have come together, which is not natural. Naturally, if you close your mouth, the teeth are behind the upper teeth. But when you're saying sin and sad, your teeth move forward. That's also due to you moving the tongue, the tip of the tongue, putting it on the lower edge, lower inner surface of the two teeth here, and that moving your teeth or your jaw forward a little bit to meet the upper teeth. Notice also that when you do this and you put your tongue there on the teeth there, what happens is, look, your tongue, the top of the tongue, right, the top of the tongue goes up, right, and it meets the gums or the root of the teeth, the gums, just behind the ridge. It finishes. If you remember, the ridge is the part where it starts to rise. It starts to rise up. So don't go behind where it rises up, but just go just behind the ridge where it starts to rise. That's where the top of the tongue should feel, right? So that there's no space or very small space, look, between the tongue there and the roof of the mouth, or the gums itself, the gums. When there's a very tiny space between the gums, the root of the teeth, and the top of the mouth, or the top of the tongue, sorry, that creates a high pressure because you're pushing up with the tongue. You're pushing up with the top of the tongue upwards, okay? When you push upwards, when you push the air through that small gap that you're pushing through, look, you're pushing up. There's a tiny gap, but you're pushing upwards. The air goes through that gap, it becomes highly pressurized. Then that high pressured air goes through the teeth, the hole in the teeth. Okay. Now, of course, Saad will have a curvature in the middle of the tongue. Okay. This is very similar to what? Ta, which is the length of ta, and it has adhesion as well, because there's now, look, the sound is going to be echoed in the middle, right? It's going to stay there, right? So this is also heavier than other heavy letters. Okay. Sin and Zai also have the same articulation, but they have not got a curvature in the middle of the tongue. So look, Sad is like an S shape. It's like an S. It goes up, down, and back up again. Sin is just like a hedge, you know? it hits the teeth there, or you touch the teeth. We don't put pressure there, you only touch the teeth, and your pressure is on the tongue going upwards to make a small gap or to pressurize the air, and then the air fully pressurized goes out of this hole in the teeth, the hole there, the hole between the two teeth, the gap. Okay, here is a comparison now. There's a curvature in the tongue of Saad and Zaay and Sin, okay, have not got a curvature. Now, one point I want to add as well is that with most of the letters that you just seen, there is also another difference, which is in the qualities of letters, which we'll get to when we look at the qualities. But I'll mention it now. Zaay has vocal cords vibrating, which is why it sounds different to Sin. And Sin is only air, and Saad is only air as well, right? That's why you got zzz, zzz, but the same place. The tongue is the same place. Zzz, ss, zzz, ss, ss, okay. This is very similar also to what ta and ta and dal. Ta is only a. Dal is got a vocal cord. Ta is also vocal cord, but with ta it stops sound, and just like qaf for example, ta stops sound. So when you say ta up, it stops sound. So you can only release the sound with qalqala. Atul. Okay. Okay. So we'll get into those details when you get to characteristics, but I wanted to mention it all now so that you have an early understanding.